We move on now to our final lightning talk, which is from Maayan Raveh. The floor is yours.
So, thank you so much for having me. And I want to use the privilege of being the last speaker and not to talk directly about the war, especially after those powerful talks that we heard. I want to talk about the future and maybe some kind of hope for the future. At the Haifa Laboratory for Religious Studies, we have been grappling with a difficult question. How should we involve religious leadership in peace-building process, particularly in the wake of October 7th and amidst the ongoing war? We have heard many argue that religion deepens conflict, reinforcing division. But while religion has often been seen as a driver of conflict, we believe it can and must be part of solution. Our goal is to develop a framework where religious and religious leaders are not sidelined, but integrate into the peace process in a meaningful way. Both Jewish and Muslim religious leaders must develop a robust political theology, one that directly engages with the political realities on the ground. This is essential, not only for fostering peace, but for ensuring that religious leaders take responsibility for the future of their communities and the region. In previous peace processes, religious leaders have largely been excluded, leaving the field to secular politicians. Yet in both Israeli and Palestinian society, religion is a central force shaping the daily life and values of millions. By sidelining these religious voices, we risk deepening the disconnect and ignoring a key force within these communities. Furthermore, the perception that peace-building efforts clash with traditional religious values persist. Many religious leaders feel that engaging in peace process promotes Western liberalism and therefore secularization of their societies. As a result, many choose not to participate, fearing they will lose their religious identity or alienate their followers. But the reality is this. If moderate religious leaders do not take responsibility and engage with the political process, the only voices that will be heard are those of extremists and anarchists, voices willing to dismantle democratic system in the name of a theocratic state. We have already seen how dangerous it can be when extremists dominate the conversation. Therefore, it is essential that both Jewish and Muslim religious leaders take on the difficult question: what does it mean to govern a religiously diverse state? How can religious values coexist with democratic principles? And perhaps most fundamentally, why has God placed two people on the same land? I believe that what we need now is not just another panel of interreligious dialogue, but a bidirectional dialogue between religion leaders and their respective politicians. Politicians must recognize the value of religious perspective in shaping policy, and religious leaders must engage with the complicity of governance and conflict resolution. This is not about asking religious leaders to passively endorse political decisions. It's about creating a framework where theological insight informs the political sphere. Religious leaders must move beyond spiritual guidance to become active participants in shaping a just and peaceful future. At the Haifa Laboratory for Religious Studies, we are working to create this new model. Our goal is to integrate religion into peace process and develop political theologies that reflect the realities of our region. This includes not only fostering interreligious dialogue, but also bridging the gap between religious and political discussion. Religion must be part of the broader political conversation if we are to achieve lasting peace. We can learn from history. After World War II, Christianity underwent a process of rethinking its role in the world and developed new framework of public and political theology. Now, Judaism and Islam face a similar challenge. They must consider what it means to have a Jewish state, a Palestinian state, and how religious value can coexist with political realities. This reflective process is essential for understanding the responsibilities and possibilities of religious leaders in sovereign states. By developing these political theologies, we can not only prevent extremists from monopolizing the discourse and transform religions into a constructive force for peace, but also allow a rethinking of the state model in a way that better fits the culture of the region and is not seen as something imposed from outside. Both political and religious leaders must evolve together, understanding that peace is not just a distant goal, but a shared responsibility that demands engagement for all sides. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marah. Thank you for providing an alternative perspective by injecting some hope into our discussion this evening with your lightning talk. I really do appreciate that, and also the way in which you have placed a emphasis on the need for religious leaders to engage in a particular way with the political infrastructure. I'd be very interested to know what kind of religious frameworks work best and what you found at the Haifa laboratory to be most meaningful, because obviously there are religious actors involved in the conflict, the war on both sides at this particular point in time. So I'd be intrigued to hear more about that.